you listed so many things of why, despite recent times and especially in our ecosystem and really just all coins in general, why I think we should continue to be very bullish on this cycle. You didn't even mention, like, I don't think you did, like all the institutional money, because it was such a story of last year, like the ETFs and everything. So we've got that, Trump coming in. The biggest thing I think you said recently that was a huge piece of news this week that I don't even really think I put in our notes, but this just came out yesterday, that the judge in the Coinbase SEC case basically delayed that lawsuit and I think deferred it to the appellate courts, because basically, I don't want to get this wrong, but it came down to the Howey test wording, and just how it's essentially like, does it. That's the whole problem that we've always had with the SEC, obviously, is the Howey test isn't really applicable to crypto. A lot of the rules don't make any sense. It was something that was written, I don't know, 100 and some years ago or something. So that judge, she obviously is seeing that. And so that one's gotten delayed. That thing being thrown out, if it does, or just, not being a positive for the SEC, which it looks pretty clear it's not going to be positive for the SEC, that's going to be huge for altcoins, especially. I mean, Coinbase is an exchange where, most of what they do business-wise is off of altcoins, obviously. So, yeah, I mean, that's huge. All the SEC stuff is huge. Obviously, Gensler is out on the 20th, and Paul Atkins will take over. And you got to wonder, like, not just the Coinbase lawsuit, but also just these changes within the SEC. We've talked about it for some time. How will it affect the case against Richard Hart, which, we're going to get to that in a moment, but we assume that we're within the final 3 weeks here, a window of time of when we're going to get a ruling on that motion to dismiss hearing in his case. If not, we could be days away, literally. So there's just so much lining up. The dominoes are falling that, I think we can continue to be bullish. And yeah, we'll have to see, like you said, if we get kind of a double top type thing this year, or what it is going to look like. And I think something that some people should remember too, and this will kind of spill over into Paul's chain, but there are altcoins that will run into 2026. Other cycles, like in 2021, everything was basically over. Not everything, but Bitcoin was over. Ethereum was mostly over by the end of 2021. There was a huge red daily candle in December of 21 that pretty much invalidated everything and showed, like, hey, we're heading somewhere else here now, into negative territory. But there were still things that did run a bit into 2026. So keep in mind that it doesn't mean that if you haven't hit this number or whatever by the end of 2025, that it's definitely over. You just want to have your head on a swivel, obviously, at that time. That's all.
I think you mean 2022, right? Things ran into that.
Yeah. Things ran into 2022. So I'm saying that, some things could still run into 2026. Yeah, my bad.
Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
it's possible. I mean, it's funny though. Once the market really ends, it becomes a game of what is the chair game?
Musical chairs.
Musical chairs, where the last one standing, and it happens kind of quickly. There will be things where people could rotate into, but Axis has been a big proponent of it extending into 26, and I guess it really kind of depends on that second double top, right? When will that happen? And because people are going to try and catch, people try and rotate money, which I don't often understand, because it's a very, very dangerous game to play. Trying to take profits on one, pull out, get profits on another, pull out, try and get, you can only do that so many times before it really is going to catch you, and you probably aren't going to time things correctly. Whereas if you just hold the certain things, let them go up and take profits as it goes, that's a little bit safer, because if it does happen to dip on you, and you end up missing out or losing the gains that you would have had to try and get something else, it's a very dangerous game to play, in my opinion, anyway.
Well, and I was kind of not necessarily meaning that Bitcoin would go still pumping into 2026. Like, I know Axis has talked about that thesis. I just meant like random other alts.
Right.
Mean, obviously crypto is so huge. You'll have stuff that does flat out do well throughout 2026, just how crypto kind of goes, because there's so many tokens. But
I didn't think you meant Bitcoin. I'm talking about trying to find that hidden gem, is what I'm saying, after you've gotten out of Bitcoin, once you think that is the top. And Ethereum usually follows historically 28 days later after the top of Bitcoin is the top of Ethereum. that's when alt season really kind of starts to take effect. And then, as those things get where they're going, people try and time them and get into other things. Well, what I'm saying is that's a very perfect time for you to put something in something that's already seen its day, and it dumps, and then there goes all your profits. It's just it's a dangerous game, was my point.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I want to finish off on this point, then we got to get to Paul's chain. But we are seeing, speaking about the timing of the cycle right now, Rand Nooner, of course, and so many others. I mean, he's kind of the chief one, which he's kind of at the point, and I'm not hating on the guy, although he definitely does the affiliate link thing and all that stuff. But I mean, he's basically like the counter trade master at this point, like just the things that he tells us, because he has a very large audience, and he's very wealthy at this point, and whatever, he can do whatever he wants, really. But he's already out there like, I'm telling you right now, I'm selling everything in May. And that's really been the narrative that's spilling down to most people in traditional crypto corners that I'm seeing all over Twitter. I mean, everybody was hit so hard, a lot of us included, at the end of the last cycle and bag held, that if they've been here this whole time, they're like, I'm telling you now, not letting that happen again. I'm out of here by May. And like I would say the majority of the market is prepared for that. The majority of the market is wanting to get out early. And again, if somebody like Rand is saying, oh, I'm out of everything in May, he's probably getting out of everything in the spring, which I guess May is still technically the spring. But I mean, he's going to be, February, March, stuff like that. That's probably when he's talking about getting out. And maybe he a guy like him is going to be fine either way. But I think what that really could line up for is, we keep talking about double top because that's just what happened to happen in 2021. I don't know that we'll get that this time. I think that because so many people are so eager to get out that are here right now, even when retail starts to come in, we might actually see maybe Bitcoin top out, I don't know, 150K, 175K, something like that, maybe by May. And then we do have a proper, exactly what you want to see, where it doubles whatever it goes to. Maybe not doubles, but goes to well over 200K later in the year or something.
Yeah.
Or who knows? But we've talked about 26, maybe a little bit into 26. But I just think so many people are so eager to bail on this thing now, despite all the bullish things that you and I just talked about, that we could really see an opportunity even a calendar year from now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do get it. Everybody's so familiar with the 4-year cycle. We in this ecosystem of, people are very nervous right now because you lose that long-term vision. I mean, we've also been, in the doldrums for 3 years now, but you're like, hey, it's 2025. This is it. Like, this is showtime, and we're still mired in this. Well, we may still have another 12 calendar months. I mean, and a lot can happen in a post Bitcoin halving year. So yeah. I don't know if you had any final thoughts. Just on some of these big influencers timing. I just think so many people are trying to get out early this year.
Well, it's because the bear market has been so brutal, and for a lot of people, this is their first experience. They just want to get in profit, and they're thinking to themselves, "Man, I don't know that I'm cut out for this." I think that's the mentality that you're seeing, and I think people will exit early because of how brutal it is, but it happens every cycle, right? I think it's just more in our faces this time because there is so much bad, and we are all sitting here kind of waiting for this stuff to make a move and do something that that it is a little bit more, I don't want to say exaggerated, but this community, most of us that were in Hex are down 90 some percent, even though we're still up 100x from the early days. It's been rough. It's been rough on a lot of people. And I think there are those people that I've heard about just saying, it gets to $1, I'm out. If Hex gets to $1, I'm out. I'm selling it. I'm
a long ways away.
It is a long way away. I get that. But I mean, they're putting number values on it, whether it's 50 cents, 75 cents, dollar, whatever it may be. There are people that have their mind made up that are just like, I'm not cut out for this anymore, and I just want to be done. So that mindset for a lot of people can be the catalyst for that big dip and then another move up, because it's that less heavy, right? You get a lot of extra weight out, and people think it's still running. There's people onboarding still, new people getting in, and it does take another hefty step up. So
yeah.
Yep. that's how it goes, though. I mean, people there will always be people that sell too early. There will always be people that buy too late. It's just
Mhm.
that's part of it.